It automatically records up to 6 hours. So fucking cool. All right. We ready? We ready? All right. Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Introverts Extroverting. It is the homoerotic, as always, Joseph P. Hutchinson, here with the soothingly sensual.
Yes.
Oh, how are we doing tonight, gentlemen?
Hanging in there. I'm full. I just ate, and now I feel like taking a nap.
At 7:50 at night, appropriate.
It's the over
Uh,
40 kicking in.
dude, I saw that plate. I don't blame you. Shit, I still want to. I ain't gonna lie. That looked good as hell.
it was very good. Sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on it after that bitch.
Hell yeah.
It was fantastic. Now, now I can sleep probably until freaking Sunday.
Aldez over here showing off the food porn in the private chat. We approve. We approve.
Hell yeah. Shit, get me on an adult diaper. I'll just stay up in there and shit and sleep all 3 of them damn days.
Or a rubber mattress so that way you just have to roll and they can like squeegee push it off the side.
But like that astronaut chick that drove cross country to go f up the chick that her husband was cheating on her with. Y'all remember that story?
I heard about that. Yeah.
That shit was crazy, man. This was maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today, everyone. We're here to talk about some fun loving sci-fi space awesomeness that so many people love to this very day, who are even older than us.
Yes. Yes, we are. I think this episode is going to have many, many, many different twists and turns like we normally do. But let's actually pick it now. Do we want to do like a full on Star Wars episode right now and then bring people in later on to expand on it, or do we want to do the adaptions one?
I really don't care because they both sound awesome. I don't
Scary?
know.
You pick.
Laptions.
Adaptions. Okay. I'm about that. I am definitely about that. So today's topic,
Wars one we can get
ladies,
more people
germs, and
involved
everything
in.
in between. Oh, dude, that would be that. Yeah, I already got Jedi Master Paul ready to biting at the bit. I want to get a couple more folk. Like, I think we should like all recruit some people and just have like a giant round table. Like that, in my opinion, that would be just gangster. As we're sitting here plotting shit on air. But so today's topic of today's episode of Introverts Extroverting is adaptions. What is better, the movie adaptation or the TV episodic adaptation?
Are we even saying that word right? Is it adaptation?
Adaptation?
Adaptation. I think it's adaptation. We're all highly educated here in this damn panel, but yeah, yeah, we'll let the audience
I'm
correct us.
I'm actually gonna Google that right quick and see what Google Voice has to say. Pronunciation, Google. What is it?
Adaptation. Adaptation.
It's adaptation.
Okay, I didn't like how she sounded like she was 4. Adaptation.
Who does that?
It's basically a Chinese Japanese. It's a Chinese company now. It's like people get mad at fucking TikTok for like censoring shit the way they do. Like,
Yeah, it just makes me think of like the like 40-year-old Japanese chick voicing the anime character that's supposed to be like 16. You
oh, that's every fucking anime character, dude.
know. Yeah, yeah. That's funny. All
I
right.
mean, you can just basically sum up like the Western ideal of perversion with like the Asian culture by just watching Blade.
That is
Just
true.
like walking in there and you got all these old ass businessmen sitting there silently and stoically in sunglasses at these children that are very clearly not dressed to be over the age of 18. Like, yeah. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about the open pedophilia that is accepted in most of today's cinema that people don't talk about, you nasty fucks. We're here to talk. Yep. We're here to talk about how and what kind of adaptions we like. Myself, I am more a fan of, especially when it comes down to like the deep, like episodic type of, not episodic, but like the epic ass fucking books that you do a TV show.
Yeah.
I mean that's just me. Like look, like someone who grew up like for example Dune. One of the great failings of adapting something like that is the level of detail that brought people in. And I get that you have like you have to adapt, you have to change up your stories and this that for a new form of medium or whatever, or a different type of storytelling to bring in what a lot of people won't admit is, sorry to say, but the lowest common denominator of people. Like I'm not trying to be hateful, but we all have friends that we love, but they're dumb as shit. Like I know I'm probably gonna get crucified for saying that, but it is what it is. And it just seems like we're sacrificing great things, at least in my opinion, like looking at Lord of the Rings, looking at Dune, looking at like uh fuck, John Carter even. Like the adaptions from what the source material is to what's presented on the screen, minus the studio's trimming, we shall say, of material to fit time and their own actual agendas. I just feel that's like we're losing out on shit. And I don't like it. Like personally, I think we need to stop adapting movies to TVs or books to movie. It needs to stop. Like it's for me, it ruins what the book was. Like I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I thought they were doper than shit. But it's not Lord of the Rings. Like I fell in love with the books because of how like high fantasy they were, and like you had fucking Aragon walking around, not all this, I'm fighting my destiny. I don't want to be king. Why do I have to be king? I just want to be a man and love my sexy elf girl. But then you got the book version where he's just straight walking around like, yeah, I'm the fucking king of Gondor. I reveal my shit when I want to reveal my shit. And it's like I get that you have people that like what they like, but if you're gonna do a book, then you do the book. Like for me, at least, stop with the whole, oh, I'm just going to change this up here a little bit and this because this is my version. Well, then go write your own shit. And that's just me as a writer.
Understood. Understood. I personally, I am digging the made-for-TV series Star Wars adaptations right now. I'm loving,
Yes.
I'm loving Mandalorian. I'm loving Book of Boba Fatso. I'm gonna love Ahsoka. I'm gonna love Obi-Wan. I already know it. And even the damn cartoons, the CG cartoons, Bad Batch, Clone Wars, and Star Wars Rebels. So all of those shows are easily rewatchable. The degree of rewatchability that they all have is outstanding. I, for one, and no lie, I can say that I've seen at minimum the Clone Wars seasons 1 through 6 at least 7 times, all the way through. since it came out back in 2008. I want to say it was.
Okay.
Right around when the animated Clone Wars movies came and Ahsoka got introduced in that little mini movie, and then the series commenced afterwards because Dave Filoni is a fucking genius. So it was great. Um, I would just have that shit on in the background sometimes, just doing whatever. Um, and yeah, man, I enjoy it because probably because we get spoiled because things get fleshed out. And in movies, you sit there for a couple hours, you're done. You wait 2 years, another one comes out. You sit there a couple hours, you're done, and then rinse and repeat, and then you never know what's going to happen. But I like these shows because you flesh things out over a prolonged period of time. You really get to know the characters. You really get to get in the mindset of what's happening in the world that has been built, and you totally get lost in it. And when it's over, you legit want more. You're salivating for more. I call that good TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely say there was many a times during Mandalorian and during fucking Book of Boba Fett where where I was physically upset because it ended.
Yeah.
I yelled at my TV.
No.
Oh, dude, fucking what episode was it? Was one of the Bryce Howard episodes. I think it was the first the when we went back to the we're cut to the Mandalorian and that one ended. I cussed my TV out. Like but that even goes into a totally even to a deeper point of like other shit that even go down in this episode of how even as an original storyteller, as someone who has started creating and putting out their own world,
Yeah.
you need to give it to other people. Like this is something I'm gonna bring up more when we do the Star Wars roundtable, but George Lucas for creating Star Wars, cool. Past that, he needs to shut the fuck up. Like I'm sorry, but Dave Filoni has done more for Star Wars than George Lucas did past creating the first movie.
And then you add freaking John Favreau in there with Dave Filoni, and you got a freaking um, royalty table of creators that understand the lore and understand as fans what fans want to see. I love that.
Yep. Yeah, and they're like that right there, that shows how studios need to shut the fuck up and stop touching things. Like from seeing the interference that went into the new trilogy of movies compared to the lack of interference that really occurred in the shows, minus Book of Boba Fett, which there's a whole bunch there that need to be fixed, but you can definitely tell where the god of the budget came down and said no. Yeah, there's a big difference. Not just in what's being told, how. And with having multiple directors, it shows that it's not the directors doing it.
Yeah.
You have a good production team.
Oh, most definitely. And like you said, you curse the TV out. Like I legit get sad when the shit is over. I'm like, no, I need more. I want more. Give
Yeah,
more, please, sir. More, sir, please.
yeah. I mean, even going down the horror aspect of it, if for especially when it comes to screen adaptions versus TV adaptions, Friday the 13th, Twilight Zone, um, Outer Limits, Supernatural. Like there's very few movies that can hold their own against something as because like the Friday the 13th fucking TV show in my opinion was one of the best horror TV shows ever created, and it had barely anything to do with Jason.
All the time.
I don't know if you guys remember seeing that at all.
I did watch it briefly because it didn't have Jason in it.
Scary, do you remember that at all?
That a lot with the cursed artifacts in the store, right?
Yes.
It was pretty cool,
Yes.
man.
Yeah,
It was
like
pretty
that,
cool.
like that versus like the Jason movies. Like, don't they're a good time. Don't get me wrong, but it gets to the point where it's like you jump the shark and then you get Jason in space,
Yeah.
and then it's like I love movies. I love a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's like we get so many stories that you can just tell that they're limited and they get done the way that Zombieland gets done because Zombieland was supposed to be the pilot of a show, and
Oh,
I,
interesting. I did not know that.
it, oh yeah, if you watch the end of it, it has the same thing that happened to it that How High happened. There was no ending.
Okay.
It
They did
was
adapt it into a
designed. I
TV
mean,
show.
zombie kill, dude. What?
They did a TV show version of it, and it flopped.
What? Oh no,
Really?
how high or Zombieland? Because I've seen the horrible that is the How High TV show. That was. I didn't know they did a Zombieland one.
3 episodes. I
I
think it
did
was
not
on
think
like
that was true.
Amazon. And first episode, and
It wasn't the same people. That was the problem.
Okay.
or 4 different people playing the role, the characters, like Tallahassee and Columbus. It was different people all together. And love
Gotcha.
the opening of the TV show. I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch it, the clips are on YouTube and everything like that. The opening of the very first episode is the only thing worth watching. Everything else is like, ugh.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I gotta check that
So
out because I didn't even know they did that.
Oh wait, what year was that? 2009 film. Teen. TV or something like that. And
I'm gonna have to check that out.
on Amazon.
yeah. Okay. Cool.
If they
Excuse
were
me.
able to get like
Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and them to do the TV show, it would have worked.
Yeah, I mean I think it would have been dope, but like for like if they could have gotten actors of that caliber, I think they could have pulled it off. Like, but that then brings in the trouble of the fucking memories people have of like characters already playing a role and then trying to recast them and
I can see
looks
that.
at looks at Spartacus and rolls my eyes. Um, I don't know, man. There's I'm just feeling like we need to start moving away from movies, man. Like let movies be like the drama, the old Western ones, like or a good throwaway sci-fi epic or a good fantasy throwaway. We've got too many people trying to build this huge, giant, cohesive universe where we're getting shitty adaptations like the MCU. If you take well, as cool as the MCU is, if you take a comic book next to the movies, those movies suck horribly.
As movies, they're fantastic. As
Yes.
as adaptations from a comic book standpoint, with all the rich lore that is there, one could pick it apart like completely and find everything to be upset about it. But at the same time, I myself am not a comic book purist. There are certain things that I would love to see versus things that I absolutely don't want to see on screen that they've done. But at the end of the day, I have trained myself to say, okay, this is essentially the equivalent of Todd McFarlane drawing Spider-Man for 30 issues, and then Jason Scott Campbell doing it for another several episodes, and then Mark Bagley drawing the character. It's an interpretation of something that's already there, and they're each going to do it different, but it's still the character at the core, and I'm okay with that as long as they don't rip the core to shreds.
But then we look at the MCU. Sorry to cut you off, but that whole characters at their core. The only character that we actually got to their core, we got two characters that are actually pretty fucking close to their core: Iron Man and Jarvis. That's it.
I thought they did a good job with Ultimate Cap, because the Cap that Chris Evans plays is more in line with the Ultimate Captain America. With
Well,
a few,
it all is like
it
that's
is.
where
Yeah, it definitely
that's
is.
the
Because that's,
problem.
and see,
Like
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yes, I love the 616 universe where everything started. Back in the '60s, I love it. You wouldn't have any of the other shit today without it. And there's certain things that I would love to see them do based on that, but I know that they won't. So I I make a little bit of personal sacrifice in terms of allowing myself to like things that weren't completely done the way that I myself and a lot of other fans would, because you're still getting a good interpretation of something. And see, I think we talked about this. We might talk about this on one of the other podcasts or even offline. That the MCU, not the MCU, but the Ultimate Universe was complained about because it was change. People hate change, but at the same time, as a revamp to put things that are amazing but in a more practical world environment. And I think that set a good framework for how the movies could become what they are today.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. It
I
wasn't a
was
complaining for them being changed. That wasn't the problem. It was how it was changed. One thing about Marvel and DC, that they are designed to bring people in, but the wording, the character development, it has never really been dumbified. Characters usually have a long, deep, enveloped background. The Ultimates shit on that. That was the main issue. Not that it changed. Like we've been used to change for forever. If anybody like DC, how many crises did they have? Marvel, how many other world stories do we have? The What If series, different people passing down mantles and titles and inheriting things. The change isn't the problem; it's the execution and then the delivery that comes about. And then we're told to shut the fuck up and give them our money because it's this brand. No, when you have people out there that are going out and supporting characters, not just because of when we're being told, oh, go support this character because of their demographics. No, we're going to go support this other character because they match the demographics, but it's better written, it's better art, it has a luscious story, not just the one people want to push. And that came down to the problem of the Ultimates, because it was basically like the House M series of No More Mutants. It was a result of Marvel throwing a bitch fit that they no longer had access to the mutants, their biggest seller. I'm a comic
yeah.
guy, so I'll sit there and I'll just be like, slappity slap, 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 like that meme. It's like, you want to complain. Your comic book knowledge comes from the movies. Mine comes from decades of bloody fucking fingers of ink and turning pages and card backs. Like I
Um,
respect other people's like opinions. I'm not trying to come at you like that or nothing. It's just one of those, like, I was involved with that shit in the comic community. Like we were the ones like writing to Marvel, writing to DC, like, stop this. This is shit. This is not selling. We want this.
did you vote on that comic book issue with Batman, whether Jason Todd got killed or not?
Yes, it did.
I just had the quick tangent there, but yeah, I mean, I grew up in that as well. Like I said, that's why I could make some personal sacrifices in terms of what I saw on screen versus what I grew up reading. And like I said, I collected a lot of the Marvel trading cards with the facts about them. I didn't get to buy as many comic books as I wanted back in the day, so a lot of my knowledge came from the Marvel encyclopedias and the comic book cards. So that's what I drew off of. That's how I learned
Which
about
is good
different.
because
Diff- Hmm?
yeah, I have to cut you off. But that's good because that's the direct shit. And those always stated this info came from here. This info came from here. This is where this comes from this issue. This comes from this issue. This comes from references here. That's
I
dope.
love that. I love doing flipping through those things, just looking at power grids of people, and then watching things as I got older when comic books were going through another kind of dry phase. Right after the Ultimates came out, I was like, dude, you just completely like nerfed this character, or this person was never this strong before. Why are you doing that? They were never this badass, and so it was a lot of you're like, wow, okay, because over the years, an initial original Spider-Man statistics: 5'10", buck 65, brown hair, brown eyes, lift press 10 tons, easily, but they have put him near the tier elites, like right below your juggernauts, your hulks, and your Thor's power strength levels. But I was like, okay, but yeah, and then